Okay, so now we're going to be talking about surface area of pyramids and cones. Remember, lateral area are your sides. Surface area then also includes the base. So the lateral area for a pyramid is 1/2 times something called your slant height times the perimeter of your base. Now the slant height extends from the vertex of your pyramid down the middle of one of your lateral sides, and it ends up bisecting the side of our base here. And then perimeter of the base is P. Now, since there's only one base, the surface area is that lateral area plus the area of just one of your bases. L stands for the slant height. P stands for the perimeter of your base. And B stands for the area of your base. Now a cone is a pyramid with a circular base. So the lateral area would be 1/2 times your slant height times the circumference of your circle, which is 2 pi r. So what that means is that the 2 and the 1/2 cancel out, so it's just L. I'm going to do the pi in first. Pi RL or pi LR, however you want to say it. I'm going to be consistent with how I say it. I'm going to say it as pi LR. I'm just rearranging the letters. So then the surface area would be pi RL, the lateral area, plus the area of the base, which the base is a circle, so pi r squared, where L is the slant height, and R is the radius. Okay, so let's get started. We have 2 prisms and 3 prisms here, 55, 56, 57. So for the first one, we have the height of your prism. So in order to find the slant height, we're going to need to draw that in. We need to find that, and we are going to connect it to the height. And that's 1/2 of the base here, so this is 8 here. So then if we completed the Pythagorean theorem, we would do a 3 squared plus an 8 squared is equal to an L squared, or a 9 plus a 64. And we wind up with the square root of 73, which makes L approximately equal to 8.54. Okay, so now to find the surface area, I'm going to do 1/2 times the slant height times the perimeter of the base plus the area of the base. So my slant height was 8.54. Times the perimeter of my base. Each side of my base is 16, and there's 4 sides, so the perimeter of my base is 64. And then I'm going to add on the area of the base. This is a square base, even though it doesn't look like it, but all 4 sides are 16, so the area of my base would be 16 squared. So my surface area comes out to be approximately 529.28 feet squared. All right, moving on to the next one here. I have my slant height, so I can get started here. My surface area is equal to 1/2 times my slant height of 6.7 times the perimeter of my base, which my base is a triangle and it's 3 sides of 10, so that would be 30. And then plus the area of my base. My base is a triangle, so that's 1/2 times the base of that triangle, which is 10, times the height of that triangle, which is 8.7. So typing this all in my calculator, I can type it all in at once. I wind up with my surface area being 144 inches squared. All right, so my next one, I have a regular hexagon here. My slant height is 11.3. So let's get started. My surface area is going to be equal to 1/2 times my slant height of 11.3 times the perimeter of my base. There's 6 sides and all of them are 6 units long, so 36 is my perimeter, plus the area of my base, which is 1/2 times my apothem of 1 times my perimeter of 36. So typing this all into my calculator, an 11.3 times a 1/2 times a 36 plus a 1/2 times a 1 times a 36 gives me that my area, my surface area, is 221.4 yards squared. All right, moving on to the next set of problems here. I have 2 cones. So my surface area is going to be, in a cone, it's pi RL, so pi times my radius, 27 divided by 2 is a 13.5, times my slant height of 32.9, plus pi r squared, so pi times 13.5 squared. I can just type this all into my calculator and then round to the nearest hundredth. So 13.5 times a 32.9 times a pi plus a 13.5 squared times a pi comes out to be approximately 1,967.89 millimeters squared. All right, surface area for my next cone. I do need to find my radius by doing the Pythagorean theorem. So I wind up with an r squared plus a 25.2 squared is equal to a 27.3 squared. So if I do a 27.3 squared minus a 25.2 squared, and then I take the square root of that, I wind up with r being a 10.5. So let's get started on the surface area then. Surface area of a cone is pi times your radius times your slant height, which is 27.3, plus pi r squared, the area of your base, so pi times 10.5 squared. Typing this all into my calculator, a 10.5 times a 27.3 times a pi plus a 10.5 squared times a pi comes out to be approximately 1,246.90, oops, let me redraw that, inches squared. All right, going down to our last 2 problems here. I have a cone with a surface area of 822.78. So this is my surface area, and this starts setting up a problem. That would equal, my diameter is 18, so that means that my radius is 9. So the surface area of a cone is pi times my radius times my slant height, which is what I'm trying to find, plus pi r squared, so pi times 9 squared. Going from here, I have an 822.78 is equal to a 9 pi L plus a 9 squared, which is an 81 pi. Subtracting that 81 pi from both sides, I'm going to get an 822.78 minus an 81 pi. In my calculator, it comes out to be approximately 568.31. And that's equal to a 9 pi L. Now, when I divide by a 9 pi, the most common mistake here is putting it into your calculator incorrectly. We do need to put parentheses around that 9 pi. So I wind up with a 569.31 divided by parentheses 9 pi, close your parentheses. And so that means that your slant height comes out to be approximately 20.14 centimeters. All right, moving on to our last problem here. I have the roof on a shed is a square-based pyramid. If the base has a side length of 10 feet and the slant height of the roof is 9.4, we want to find the area of the roof. Well, the bottom of your roof, the base of your pyramid, is not part of the roof. Because that's not an outside surface. So the outside surface is only the lateral shapes of our pyramid. So we're actually going to be finding the lateral area, which the lateral area of a pyramid is 1/2 times your slant height times the perimeter of your base, which is 10 since it's a square, times 4, so 40. So if I do a 40 times a 9.4 times a 1/2, I wind up with the surface area of this roof being 188 feet squared. All right, that brings us to the end of this lesson.